Hola mundo, buenos días. Hoy vamos a aprender cómo formar los mandatos familiares negativos. So we're going to look at making negative to commands in Spanish. So these are commands that you would use with like maybe your brother, your sister, a friend, someone you're familiar with, somewhere where you don't need to show respect, like maybe for your teacher or for maybe a waiter at the restaurant or something like that. You're not going to use these for those people, but in a more familiar setting. So if you haven't yet watched my other lesson, you can. I do have a lesson already on negative to commands with pronouns. It's right here. The link that you see on that document is live if you open up the document. The link to my document is in the description of the video. So if you want to follow along with that, that'd probably be the best, because that's what I'm going to be doing, is following along on this document. So you can open up that link and then you'll have access to my document. You can print it off if you want to take it with you, and all of the blue links you see in here will be live once you open it. So, if you've already learned usted and ustedes commands, this will be really easy for you, because it's almost exactly the same as usted and ustedes commands, with just a slight difference. Remember what these three things when doing these negative to commands. Think opposites, think yo form, and keep in mind with regards to pronouns, negative equals no attach. So you don't have to necessarily think in that order, but just remember those three things, okay? So first thing we'll do is look at some regular verbs. So hablar, meaning to speak. If I want to say don't speak, I would say no hables. Vivir, no vivas. Vender, no vendas. So remember, this is the whole idea of opposites. What we're going to do here is take kind of the opposite ending of the verb. So like an AR verb is going to go to an E ending, and an IR-ER verb will go to an A ending. And notice to keep the S on the end of it, kind of like a two-form verb has anyway in the present tense. So think opposites when you're doing the negative to commands. Boot verbs, when we're doing these, we do want to keep in mind the boot change. So pedir is a boot verb, I to I, so no pidas will be the negative to command for pedir. Morir, no mueras. Preferir, no prefieras. So we're keeping in mind the boot change and the idea of opposites with those ones. Cargars are verbs. Hopefully you at some point have had some experience with these cargars are verbs when learning the preterite or when learning the usted and ustedes commands. The change is the same in the usted as in the usted and ustedes commands, except for obviously the S at the end of it. So sacar is going to be no saques. We change the C to a QU to keep that K sound. Pagar, no pagues. We have to stick a U in there to keep the G sound. And casar, no cases. We just have to change the Z to a C. There's no phonetical reason for it, but that's just the way it is. Let's go down a little more. We've got a big list here of some irregular verbs. These irregulars are exactly the same as like the usted or ustedes commands, except for there's an S at the end of it instead of either nothing like the usted commands or an N like the ustedes commands. So for all of these verbs, you want to think about what's the yo form of this verb, and that's how I'm going to form my command. So just for example, the yo form of tener is tango. I'm going to drop that O off, and then that's how I'm going to form my negative to command. So the commands read no tengas, no pongas, no hagas, no digas, no salgas, no vengas, no sigas, no traigas, no oigas, no conozcas, no conduzcas, no traduzcas. So for all of those ones, they have an irregular yo form. I dropped the O, and I added an AS to the end of it to form the negative to command. Let's go down a little more. Got a few more irregular ones. The very first one, I just want to point out that a lot of books say that dar, the negative to command for dar, is irregular, but when you think about it really, like if you look up here at hablar, which is an AR verb, the ending for it is an ES in the negative to command form. If I go down here for dar, it's an AR verb, and the ending for it is an ES, just like hablar. So really, it's not that irregular. The only thing that I guess you could say is regular is that there's no accent mark over the E, which technically Spanish rules dictate that there should be one there, but there isn't one, so it's really not that irregular. It's nothing difficult about it. Estar no estés, ir no vayas, ser no seas, ver no veas, saber no sepas. So those are some irregular ones that you're just going to want to memorize. There's no great way to remember them. Just sit down and study for a bit. Let's go down more. So I've got three more categories here of things that you want to think about when you're doing these negative to commands. First one is going to be with reflexive verbs. So these verbs are the verbs that end in se. I've got 4 examples here for you. We got to do, there's 2 steps involved here for most of these ones. The first thing you have to do is take the se off of the end of the verb, put it in front of it, and then change it to te. Remember that we're doing to commands, so the reflexive pronoun for a reflexive verb for you, for to, is te, so that's why we change it to te. And remember from earlier I said negative commands equal no attached. We're not attaching our pronouns to the end of the verb on the negative command, so I'm putting it in front. And I'm going to say no te levantes for don't get up. Secarse, no te seques. Notice that secarse is also a car verb, so I changed the C to a QU. Despertarse happens to be a boot verb, so no te despiertas, don't wake up. And olvidarse is to forget, no te olvides, don't forget. Let's look at some negative 2 commands with reflexive verbs and direct object pronouns. So we're looking at 2 pronouns here. And keep in mind the whole idea of negative equals no attached. So the first one, don't wash your feet. I'm going to change the feet to a direct object pronoun, which would be los. So I have 2 pronouns here. I have the reflexive pronoun, se, and then the direct object pronoun, los. So first thing we need to do is change that se to te, because we're doing 2 commands. I'm going to put them both in front of the verb, and I'll put the one that refers to the person first. Put people before things. So no te lo laves would be the negative 2 command. Quitarse la ropa, don't take off your clothing. No te la quites. I changed la ropa, direct object noun, to a pronoun la and put it after the te. And then the last one, don't put makeup on your face. No te la maquilles. Let's go down a little bit here. We've got some negative 2 commands with direct and indirect object pronouns. So again with pronouns, negative, no attached. Remember that. First one is we're going to say don't give the gift to her. So the gift can change to lo. The indirect object pronoun for to her is lay. So I have lo and lay. We're going to put the indirect before the direct. So we have lay and lo. But hopefully you've learned pronouns by now. You can't have 2 pronouns together when they both start with an L. So we changed the lay to se. No se lo des. If you haven't yet learned how to work with direct and indirect object pronouns, I highly recommend you go back and watch some of my videos on that, because without having that prior knowledge, it's going to make some of this really difficult. Let's see, the next one. Don't send the packages to me. So I'm going to say don't send them to me. To me would change to me. The packages would change to los. No me los mandes. And the last one is going to be don't do the homework assignments for us. So don't do them for us. No nos las hagas. Alright, so that's some practice for you and an example. What I want you to do is make some negative 2 commands with the verbs and nouns given. Turn any direct object nouns into pronouns. Model. Don't prepare the pancakes for them. So I have 2 pronouns here. I have for them, which was going to change to lace. Then the pancakes will change to los. We'll switch the order of those and have lace and los, but remember you can't have the 2 L ones together. So I'm going to change the lace to se. And then I'm going to do the preparar, since it's a negative 2 command, kind of to the opposite ending with an S on it. No se los prepares. So there's 1 through 10 there. If you want to do this here, go ahead and pause the video and then come back, and I'm going to start giving you the answers in about 5 seconds. So do that. If you want to, again, you can print this off via that link in the description of the video. So here come the answers. What I did for you is I kept the original ones here, and then the answers over here. I'm just going to read the answers for you so that you can hear how they're pronounced. Okay? No me lo pases. No te acuestes. No la compres. No te lo cepilles. No la veas. No se la digas. No los cases. No te duches. No te lo pongas. No nos la prepares. If you got a different answer, or if you're not sure how I came up with my answer, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I will respond to your question promptly. If you liked my video, please leave a like, and obviously subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.